What's up, everyone? It's Phoenix here, bringing you guys another podcast. Today, we're going to talk about One Tree Hill, as it seems to be coming back from the dead, as many YouTubers are reacting to the show now. People are kind of rediscovering the show, and I've already seen One Tree Hill, but I have been rewatching it just because I felt like it. And I wanted to talk about the characters that really made One Tree Hill what it was. Not just the main characters, but some of the guest characters. They really made it what it is. Especially the ones that that really kept it alive. The reason why it's coming back, and it's pretty much a really timeless show, despite maybe some old references here and there. It was made in 2009, believe it or not. So I was 9 years old when it was made, and yet it is forever going. I think it's going to live on for a very long time. And again, there are certain characters that really made that happen. First of all, it's the Scott brothers, their rivalry with each other, and I think the show really centered around them for a while, and it really brought home what it was. But the other character that really was probably one of the main reasons why the show did so well would have to be Brooke Davis. I mean, her character was so well written and so well told that, and Sophia Bush was the perfect casting for that, as she was able to really drive home those emotions and make you feel the way that she felt and make you, think the way that she thought. She's this broken character who only really wants to find someone who loves her as she loves others. And, she went through so much as this character. And I'm going to tell you this now. There are definitely spoilers in this. So if you have not seen One Tree Hill, all 9 seasons, and you do not want to be spoiled at all, stop watching. Stop listening. Stop doing what you're doing. Go finish the show, however long it takes, and then come back to this. Because there are spoilers from season 1 to season 9. There are spoilers up ahead. So just as a warning, there's spoilers. Anyways, moving forward, Brooke Davis was this broken character, right? She really, oftentimes she puts on this brave face, but deep down she has so much emotion and so much going for her. All she really wants is someone to love her as she loves others, like I said. And yet she finally finds this boy who she really loves, Lucas Scott, and she falls in love with him. And whether or not you like Layton or not, Lucas and Peyton, Brooke really got hurt when they went behind her back, snuck around behind her back, cheating on her. Not only did she lose her boyfriend, but she also lost her best friend at the same time. She was betrayed by both her boyfriend and her best friend at the same time. And that doesn't go away. And I think that's really the reason why Lucas and Brooke and Peyton, no matter how many times they made up, there was always that broken trust that was there, lingering with them. And while eventually the show kind of brushed that off, it still resonated. It was still there. That wasn't going to be taken back. They still snuck behind her back. Brooke asked Peyton multiple times if she liked Lucas. And she said no. Or she said, I don't know. And she couldn't make her mind. And so therefore, Lucas was fair game for Brooke. And yet, eventually, they did end up getting together, but it was in the worst possible way. Lucas was with Brooke, and he chose to betray her, and that's very hard for anyone to deal with. Not only did he cheat, but he cheated on her with her best friend, and that is something that really set the tone for the show. I mean, it's a very dramatic show. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of things that happen that wouldn't necessarily happen in real life. And yet, the characters are so relatable. There is a person for everyone. Whether it's, Brooke, whether you're that broken girl who puts on this brave face for everyone, but is really in a lot of pain, or you're the loner, who likes to keep to herself, like Peyton, or you're the arrogant jock that's influenced by his father. There's something to relate to in everyone, in every character. There's always someone to relate to, especially Brooke. We can relate to her pain. We live through her pain, and we do that because Sophia Bush is such an amazing actress that she's able to make you feel what she feels, and that is a very hard thing to do for anyone, especially when just having control of those emotions and making everyone feel the same way that she feels. We feel her pain, we feel her sadness, we feel when she's happy, we feel when she's lost. I think it's quite obvious that Brooke really made the show what it was. The Scott brothers, they really drove it for the first season and everything, and they were still driving it, but it was really Brooke who made it what it is today and what it is now. I think without Brooke, there would have been always this missing link, and it would not have been as it wouldn't have been able to stay as relevant. It would have probably died in 2009 or whenever it ended. I forget what year it ended, but I think really having Brooke there really helped the show be what it was. Now, outside of the Scott brothers and Brooke, there was also Peyton. And while I don't think Peyton really made the show. I mean, she was kind of like a thorn in everyone's side for a little bit. I mean, with good intentions and all, I think. But she was just always this broken character, and she liked to put the blame on everyone except herself a lot. And in that way, she also related to Lucas, which is what made them such a, I guess, compatible pairing, is that they both kind of blamed everyone else for what they did. Lucas blamed Haley, and Peyton blamed Brooke. And that was actually really a real shame for both of the characters, that they kept blaming people that didn't really do anything wrong. I mean, it wasn't until really later that Peyton found out about Brooke and Nathan, but by then it was so far lost that it didn't even matter really. Peyton finally found that one thing that she could blame Brooke for, and that was Nathan. But at the same time, technically speaking, they were broken up. And yeah, maybe they were off and on, but they were at least broken up. Peyton hurt Brooke while they were dating for a month. For 1 month, they went behind Brooke's back, and they were doing this. And, there is this girl code where you're not supposed to, date, your best friend's ex. But at the same time, it is better to date your best friend's ex than to date your boyfriend, your best friend's boyfriend. I mean, that's just a given. And while they both screwed up, Brooke's is at least more justifiable. Like, first of all, she was drunk, and she was really drunk, and second of all, that was a really long time ago. Actually, it was, 2 years ago? From when it was discovered? But none of the characters are perfect. Okay, that's the moral of the story. No one is perfect. Everyone had committed something. They did something wrong. But I felt that Lucas and Peyton were almost the worst ones. Almost. They were almost the worst ones because they kept blaming everyone else. They kept, and they had their good moments. I mean, I didn't completely hate the characters because they did have their good moments. But they also were kind of, I just don't know. I mean, they definitely helped made the show what it was, but there were also so many things wrong with their characters, just in general. But anyways, moving on, because I think I just ran it for 10 minutes. Moving on, other characters that really made the show, I would say Alex Dupre. Now, Alex Dupre wasn't introduced until season 7, and yet I don't think the show would have been what it was without her. She was just that character that just made sense. In many ways, she was very similar to Brooke. In the sense that she was just as broken as Brooke. She was also looking for love, and she just happened to fall in love with the wrong person. But there was so much more to Alex than what everyone else thought, and to me, that's what really made it. If not everyone is a fan of season 7, without Alex, I don't think season 7 would have been as good. For me, season 7 was actually probably one of my favorite seasons. I know not everyone likes it because, Layton left and Lucas and Peyton left, and there were a bunch of characters that were missing, but also there were a lot of great characters added, especially Alex, and Julian. I think Julian also helped make the show because it gave Brooke exactly what she wanted. He understood her pain. She finally had someone who understood her pain, who understood her emotions, who understood where she came from, and understood, the background, her background, the reason why she is who she is today, because her mother and father completely ignored her, and Julian felt the same way. He was raised in pretty much the same way as Brooke. And I was really happy, and I think everyone was really happy, that Brooke finally had someone who didn't treat her like, garbage and understood what she was going through. Peyton was kind of there, and Lucas was kind of there, but there's always that remaining, but they still betrayed her. They still went behind her back, and they still caused her pain. And that's not fair. Once you go behind someone's back, and you break that trust, it's very, very hard to get back. And they broke it a second time. Once they did get it back, they broke it a second time. Now, technically, it wasn't necessarily Luke's fault, but it was definitely Peyton's fault. It was kind of to be expected. I was kind of rooting for Peyton and Jake. But at the same time, it was kind of obvious that Luke and Peyton would end up being together. It just sucks that they really had to break Brooke twice. And, there was always that lingering moment for Brooke once that happened, where eventually Peyton would fall apart. Even if they made up, Brooke and Nathan was like a one-time thing. It happened a real long time ago. She was drunk. There's not really an excuse for it, but there's at least a probable reason for it. Whereas with Lucas and Peyton, there was no reason that they had to sneak behind Brooke's back twice. Well, kind of twice. Once very majorly and twice kind of minorly. But they still snuck behind her back twice. And then Peyton acts she's all, suddenly acts that it's all Brooke's fault. It had to be Brooke's fault, because of that sex tape. Whereas, but it really wasn't. It was maybe a tiny bit, but she didn't know at the time when she was, cheating with Lucas. She didn't know that Brooke and Nathan had been a thing. So she chose willingly to still sneak behind Brooke's back. Knowing that she was dating Lucas. Fully aware that they were dating. And then she blames Brooke for everything. And that's not a good friend. Another person who really made the show was Haley James. She was really this wholesome character, despite that one moment, when she left. She really helped Brooke. She really became, she became Brooke's best friend. She became what Peyton should have been. She definitely didn't sneak behind, making out with Lucas and making out with all Brooke's exes. And she didn't leave. It was kind of actually ironic how Peyton left, despite, always saying that people always leave. And I think there was, real life reasons for that, but I'm not really sure. But, she left, and, Haley really deserves an MVP reward of being the best friend that Peyton should have been. Because she was really always there for Brooke. There was that one moment where she didn't invite her to that party. But really, she was still always there. And there's that one moment when they run out of gas, and Peyton's like, "Brooke, did you not think to fill up the car or the tank or whatever?" And Brooke's like, "Ask the question, Brooke," because she calls Haley Brooke. But really, Haley was always there for everyone. Except for that one moment. When no one else was. For Brooke. And for really anyone, She was always there for Nathan. Except for that one moment. And she was always there for Lucas. Despite him being a total a-hole to her for no reason. But she really helped make the show what it was. Also, Chris Keller, you never really realized how essential he was until he was introduced. I think there's a lot of good in Chris Keller's heart, but it's also kind of like obscured by the way that he behaves. Um, but his moments in the show really helped make it what it was as well. And more importantly, one of the characters that really made it what it was, despite having very many flaws, was definitely Dan Scott. He really drove Nathan and Deb to be what they were. And despite him being manipulative and probably one of the most hated characters on the show, at least until season 7 and 9, he was always off and on, kind of. Like, he looked like he had a good side to him, and then he didn't. He's always this, like, manipulative character, until that moment where he started becoming better. But his manipulation and what he did in the show, I think really helped drive both Nathan, Lucas, and really every other character to become who they are, despite his, bad behaviors. He really did make the show what it was. And another character that really made it what it was, a guest character, what they really made it what it was Rachel. Rachel, she was actually kind of there for Brooke when Peyton wasn't. When Peyton was still sneaking behind, Brooke's back, she was there. They didn't start out as friends, but they definitely, I think they ended as kind of friends. I mean, Rachel wasn't really friends with anyone, but she had her good moments. That there's that moment when they were dancing to "Wannabe," and that was a really good moment because they were just having fun, and I think that was a really important moment. Other characters that really made it what it was. I mean, there were a lot of great characters, but I think that one of the most important ones was definitely Whitey. Whitey, he was there when Dan wasn't, and when Keith couldn't. He was always inspiring the boys, and not just the boys, but everyone else. He always knew what to say. He always knew what to do when the going got tough. And he was just always there. And his humor and his inspiration, his inspirational side to him, again, was really what helped make the show what it was. I don't think it would have been the same without Whitey, or any of the other characters that I listed. No, there are plenty of great characters that I could just go on and on about. But those were the characters that I think really made it what it was. Again, nothing against the characters that weren't mentioned, but those were the characters that really stood out amongst all of them. But anyways, that's just my opinion on the characters and everything. So yeah, there's not really much else to talk about. It's been going, this has been happening for 25 minutes, about, roughly speaking. So I think I'm actually going to wrap it up. But honestly, I just love One Tree Hill. All of the characters were amazing, despite whether or not I mentioned them or not. Some of them really helped with a little touch here and there. But those are really the ones that helped make it what it was. Like I said a million times. Anyways, comment down below who is your favorite character in One Tree Hill and why. why are they your favorite character? For me, it's Brooke, because for the reasons that I've already given. Um, and I always kind of thought that Brooke kind of got the short end of the stick. She went through a lot. But anyways, leave a like if you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe for more content. Anyways, peace out, guys. It's been a blast.